The animation is really good as Iron Man without all the MCU glory. I mean, it's crazy seeing Hulk as one of the A-listers in Marvel. Suffice to say, this was pretty underwhelming. Spider-Sense Spider-Man. Oh my god, that is some nostalgia. I've heard this game isn't actually that good. Like, it was like decent at the time, but if you were to play it now, it's just... Has Marvel already peaked? That's a question a lot of people have been asking, especially in light of Marvel trying to revitalize their Marvel Cinematic Universe with stuff like Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and the soon-to-come Avengers Doomsday. Because a lot of people argue that Marvel kind of peaked at Endgame, because that took 10 years of consistent build-up for an immensely satisfying payoff, and we just haven't gotten anything like that since. But before the movies took over, we did have Marvel content, okay? It just wasn't that mainstream. And some people would argue that this Marvel content, this was peak Marvel. Is it mainly driven by nostalgia? Yeah. Probably. But I thought it would be fun to revisit the pre-MCU-fication of Marvel and see whether that Marvel was actually better than the Marvel we have now. So I've selected some pieces of Marvel media that I think really encapsulated what Marvel was before the movies really hit with the general public, and I thought it would be fun to revisit them and see if they actually, you know, hold up. Alright, the first thing we're gonna look at is this animation produced by Marvel Kids, I believe, back in the day. Marvel HQ actually re-uploaded this in HD quality. The only one that you could find before this was like 720 or 480p or something, so 7 years ago they decided to, you know, polish this up and re-upload it, and I'm keen to see whether this is as good as it was in my head as a fucking, I don't know, like 8-year-old as it is now. By the way, I am probably gonna talk and pause during these videos, so if you're gonna bitch about me talking in my own video, just go fucking watch the video itself, okay? Leave me alone, Jesus. Okay, so we're gonna watch part 1 in 3, 2, 1. Dude, I remember this dumbass kid. The animation still looks pretty damn good. It does really have that Scott Johnson vibe. I don't know if you guys know who Scott Johnson is, but... Wow, so that Tony Stark just doesn't really look like Robert Downey Jr. at all. That Spider-Man mask is so weird because it's just completely fabric. There's no lens texture or anything. This is really nostalgic. The animation is really good. Like, I'm sure this came out maybe close to 20 years ago. And it looks pretty sick. I think this was one of my first exposures to Iron Man. And like all his weapons and stuff. Because I remember thinking, what? He has like a freeze ray? That's fucking sick. That was OP as fuck. Alright, that's part 1. Wow, that was incredibly short. Before we get into part 2, I remember reading that this animation was actually made to promote Iron Man as a character to kids, because the Iron Man movie was about to come out and Iron Man wasn't that much of a popular character. And I think the original Marvel trio before the MCU was Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wolverine, right? And they kind of just swapped out Wolverine for Iron Man, which makes sense because at the time, Marvel was just kind of depending on Iron Man to succeed as a movie. Because Fox owned X-Men and Sony owned Spider-Man, and obviously they need to get Spider-Man in here because he's like he's the fan favorite. But it is pretty interesting to see Iron Man as Iron Man without all the MCU glory. The amount of times I've said MCU in this video so far is fucking insane. You know, this doesn't really matter, but part 1 has 12 million views, part 2 has 603,000 views. What's poppin'? Brand new. Alright, we're gonna watch part 2. Justice is Blind. I just noticed that in the billboard behind them. Is that a reference to Daredevil? Anyways, this is how I imagined the Marvel Universe as a kid. I think the MCU does an alright job, but this is how I envisioned it in my head. Damn, I remember this so vividly. I remember seeing that inside helmet shot of Iron Man and being like, what the hell? It's so spacious, and I don't know, it's so different from what we know now as Iron Man's helmet UI interface. Well, it's crazy seeing Hulk as one of the A-listers in Marvel. I think this is what a lot of people envision Hulk as, rather than the Hulk we have now. The whole city is a bit uncanny valley because there are like no citizens or anything. But I guess it makes sense because they already evacuated everyone. And I think it's worth mentioning that this is also the second time that Hulk has caught Iron Man falling from space. And this was before the Avengers movie. Iconic shot of Hulk and Iron Man. Sorry, I'm just reading the other articles. See, oh my god, look at that font at the end for more Marvel Adventures. 2007! Yeah, so this was right before Iron Man 1 came out. I don't know what to say, the vibe is just different. I don't want to like glaze this with rose tinted glasses, but it's just different in my opinion. It's not better or worse. I think it's just a different vibe. Speaking from my personal childhood experience, this is the Marvel world as I envisioned it. I know this is ironic to say because I just said that it looked a bit lifeless and uncanny valley without any civilians running around, but this felt more like full of life and like an active superhero city. Man, this is such nerd talk. What the fuck? I used to go on marvelkids.com a lot as a kid, I'm pretty sure. There was a lot of cool stuff on there and unfortunately it's taken down because you know why? Kids, they don't need that website anymore. They just go on TikTok and iPads and I don't know what kids do. Roblox, they go on Marvel Roblox. Or Fortnite. Okay, the next piece of media I want to tackle is Madame Tussauds London Marvel Superheroes 4D movie. Yeah, 49 million views 14 years ago. I remember watching this as a kid. I barely remember it. I used to think this was the coolest thing ever. This was my first exposure to Madame Tussauds. Like, I didn't know what it was, and this was my first exposure to it. I looked it up and I was like, oh, like, why isn't there one where I live? Like, what the hell? I want to experience this 4D Marvel movie. And I'm pretty sure this was in the era, again, where there wasn't any boundaries and politics about which characters can appear where, and I think this just had all the Marvel heroes just together. I don't know. I don't really remember. Let's watch and find out. By the way, 22,000 likes, 10,000 dislikes. Is it that bad? I don't know. Alright, 49 million views is fucking insane though. I can't lie. Why is Captain America throwing Wolverine? What the? Whoa, it is... Yeah, the animation hasn't aged as well as what the previous short that we saw, but... Doctor Doom... It is... I have no words. I'm just trying to process everything I'm seeing. That robot looked very similar to the one we just saw. Alright, so we have Captain America, Wolverine... Wolverine in his, classic modern suit. Spider-Man, Iron Man. Spider-Man looks very Scott Johnson art-esque, you know? Yeah, this was pre-MCU basically, which explains a lot because you wouldn't see Spider-Man and Hulk interacting with each other like that. I mean, it's pretty impressive they got Iron Man and Captain America in there, considering that they weren't popular at all, apart from Iron Man. Or, I guess just Captain America. Like, no one really knew who Captain America was, I think, unless you were like a Marvel kid. Like, for real, you wouldn't really know who Captain America was. He just looked like a cornball, like a patriotic cornball. Suffice to say, this was pretty underwhelming compared to the animation we just saw. We have, is that Doctor Doom controlling a bunch of bugs? I'm so confused, man. Alright, I keep mentioning the Scott Johnson guy, right? And if you didn't know who Scott Johnson is, he is responsible for all the art from Marvel 2000s going forward on like promotional and marketing material, like lunch boxes and stickers and coloring books and stuff. Wow, okay, so I'm just looking at these pictures and all of them are pretty much the definitive look for every Marvel character you can imagine, especially since it was before the MCU had a major influence on how these characters looked in the mainstream. I think apart from Cyclops though. Cyclops looks like a sort of a mix with the Ultimate version, but other than that, this is Marvel, you know? Especially the Hulk and Spider-Man specifically, they give me a lot of nostalgia. I know a lot of people don't like this art because it's very bland and corporate. I think that's a very common complaint when they see this. And you know what? To be fair, it kind of is, but again, that's kind of the point, I guess, because I mean, hopefully this guy's making royalties on every fucking lunchbox ever from Marvel, because this was on everything. And Scott Johnson, the artist, I'm pretty sure he was asked by Marvel to cover a lot of other people's art in his own style for marketing purposes, which he said online, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of people give him flack for that, like, oh, like he just traces it over other people's work. But I think that's kind of the task he was assigned sometimes, and you know, I don't really blame him as long as no shady shit was going on. Spider-Sense Spider-Man, oh my god, that is some nostalgia. And one of the things that I linked to his art is that marvelkids.com, they had a make your own Marvel comic thing, and they use all of his art as well, so lots of strongly linked memories with that. That Hulk especially, his Hulk is very oof to me, you know, like just the patch of hair on the top, no hair on the sides or anything. Yeah, I remember we had a full like sticker book. We actually still might have it. I might check after I finish filming this video. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't though, because it's mad old, but I'm reporting in from the future, and good news, I found it. God damn, look at that. Look at that. Look at that shit. Scott Johnson, you fucking legend. So this page is called Marvel Legends, and who they have here is Captain America, first and foremost. And then we have Hulk, we have Thor, we have Wolverine, we have Spider-Man, and we have Daredevil as well. Congrats, Daredevil, for making it to the Legends section. I'm proud of you, bro. Supervillains, we have Magneto, we have Green Goblin, we have Dr. Octopus, Dr. Doom, Baron Zemo. Is that Loki? Yeah, Loki and Apocalypse for some reason, whose sticker is not there. Maybe we just didn't know who Apocalypse was. Look at all these stickers that have gone. God knows where they are now. You want to see which stickers are left behind? We have Elektra and Invisible Woman. Oh my god, bro. Me and my older brother, we were some fucking misogynists. But you know who also we have down here who didn't get chosen to be used as a sticker? We have Professor X. No one fucking wanted a Professor X sticker. We have She-Hulk as well. See, listen, as little boys, we just didn't like girl characters. And we have a random page of a Sentinel dying. Now that I think about it, you're probably meant to put X-Men characters on top of here to make it look like they took out the Sentinel. But the thing is, us kids, we're not that smart. Alright, this page spread is called Ultimate Heroes. I think these are more like street level kind, like esque, because we have, fuck, I'm blocking it. We have we have some X-Men, we have Phoenix there for some reason. We have Nick Fury, Elektra, The Thing, hero teams. Alright, we have the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is the only Scott Johnson art, and that's why it's the one that looks the best. Where is it? These two, why did they pick such weird images to represent them? Like, that's not the regular X-Men team, that's the regular, that's not the regular Avengers team. What the fuck? This was $9.95. I feel like that's kind of expensive, considering that this was produced in 2006. I don't know how much that would have been in USD in 2006. Even $9.95 for this book right now, that's fucking crazy, okay? Sorry, I'm shaking the table. It might seem like there's an earthquake, but but it wasn't an earthquake. It was just inflation. But you know what's insane? There is no Iron Man featured in these character spreads. Isn't that crazy? That's how different Marvel was back then. Anyways, pretty crazy I found that, right? There's just something about this kind of art that it's insane that one guy, his art just kind of reached into the core of so many kids during the 2000s and the early 2010s that when you grow up and look back at it now, it's like, whoa, yes, I remember that specific style of Marvel art. Alright, next thing we're gonna watch is the cutscene compilation from Ultimate Alliance 1. This was a very popular game, and I know it introduced a lot of people to the larger Marvel roster, and especially considering this was before the MCU, obviously. I really wanted this game as a kid, but, you know, not everyone's rich. But I remember watching this cutscene compilation thing so many times. I don't know, there was something so cool about it. It just felt so real and so gritty and yet very Marvel-esque. The designs of the characters are also very reminiscent of the Ultimate series, like the Ultimate Universe, like Captain America with his ears out. But yeah, let's watch. Alright, this was back when Nick Fury was white. There they are, the core four. Honestly, Wolverine's kind of out of his league here. One slip, he's falling to the fucking earth, bro, and he's done. He's not dead, but he's like just out of the fight. Whoa, I just heard the Star Wars sound effect. What the hell? Well, it's also weird seeing Thor, you know, with his actual Thor character and not the MCU Thor. Is this Ultron? Because they look like Ultron bots. Oh no, the Doom bots, right? I don't know, man. Spider-Man's strong as fuck. Jesus. That's how Spider-Man should be. Also, again, skin-tight Spider-Man, just very basic costume, and even just no lens as well on the mask. Just completely fabric. Captain America looks badass. Pulled a John Walker there. Captain America is really serious as well. I mean, he is serious in the MCU, but he is definitely more of a soldier commander here. I wonder why they picked these specific four. Oh my god, I remember this. It's hard to miss with Nightcrawler, you know? Lots of ways to make him badass. Oh, with the swords as well. Okay. I remember seeing this and being like, Nightcrawler's the coolest X-Men character ever. See, okay, these are Doom bots. Earlier it was like Ultron bots or something. Damn, got zapped. It's crazy how they made Doctor Doom like the villain for this, which makes sense because, you know, it's Doctor Doom. This is also pre-MCU Asgard as well. Like, this is so, I don't know, Nordic styled? These guys look like actual fucking Vikings. Doesn't one of them die or something and the other, they charge in? Yeah, okay. Oh no! No, the homie! I've heard this game isn't actually that good. Like, it was like decent at the time, but if you were to play it now, it's just endless grinding and just no good. But maybe I'm wrong. Whoa, why is Captain America's shield so small? This is my first exposure to the Watcher character, I'm pretty sure. It was either this or Superhero Squad show. Dude, Doctor Doom is such a threat in this, and yet Avengers Doomsday is making him an Iron Man variant. That's fucking crazy. Galactus. Oh my god, this scene. Is it gonna show like, oh, look at all the X-Men. Look at the Hulk, he's fucking dead. Gambit's on the ground. Can't see anything because it's too dark. Ah, Colossus. This fucking scarred me as a kid because I love Colossus as a kid. He's one of my favorite X-Men characters, and I see him missing a fucking hand and missing a leg. Cyclops, he tries it, but yep. That also fucking hit me hard because I love Cyclops too. I just really like the X-Men. But Colossus and Cyclops I really liked. Like, this shit looks so real to me as a kid. Like, this was so cool. Like, it was really cool to see the Marvel Universe come to life in realistic animation. Listen, Doom, you're about to get smoked by Odin, bro. Well, we don't have Odin anymore in the MCU, so wonder how they're gonna beat Iron Man. Evil Iron Man. Do we have no Avengers in this?
The world can count on us.
Captain America's voice actor is so like extra. And then Galactus. Fucking huge. I think he holds the earth in his hand. So I see a thumbnail for Ultimate Alliance 3 and all those cutscenes, and wow, it looks so different. It looks borderline cartoony, which isn't really a bad thing, but we have Guardians of the Galaxy in there. Nick Fury's black now. Wolverine's in costume. I don't know. It looks different, you know? And I don't know if that actually did well. Ultimate Alliance 2 was based on the Civil War comic, and I'm not gonna get into that today because, like, what's the point, you know? It's really interesting to see this lineup because this is just Captain America, Thor, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. And Thor and Captain America, at this point in time, they were not popular characters at all. They were like decent. They were like B-grade Marvel characters. But it's insane that they didn't get the Hulk or something in here. They just didn't really care about what companies and studios own which characters, and they just freely you know, just threw them all in there. It was just like one Marvel universe. And the fact that we see like the X-Men attempted to fight Doctor Doom, that's pretty sick, you know? Speaking of which, a lot of people are theorizing that because we've seen some set leaks from Avengers Doomsday, it kind of looks like the X-Men mansion front yard, but with craters. Supposedly, no one actually knows. That's what people are just running with, I guess. It's either gonna go two ways, right? It's either gonna go, Doctor Doom just slaughters the X-Men as the opening scene for Avengers Doomsday, which would really suck. You bring back all these amazing characters, and then you just kill them off just to show how strong Evil Iron Man is. Like, dude, really? I'm complaining about something that I don't even know is confirmed or whatever. But the second option is that's where the Avengers meet the X-Men and they go in a full fight for Avengers vs X-Men, and that's where all the craters and shit come from. That would be pretty cool, you know? Much better than seeing the Fox X-Men universe treated as cannon fodder just to, you know, go like, oh my god, look how strong Evil Iron Man is. Isn't this like sick, dude? And I'll just be like, you just wasted James Marsden Cyclops again! What is wrong with you? But to answer what I said at the beginning of this video, is this era of Marvel, was it better than what we got with the MCU and post-MCU? Listen, the objective answer is it isn't, okay? Because what the MCU did, it has brought a shit ton of attention and money to the Marvel brand, okay? That's an objective fact. And like what I said before, what Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios did and achieved with Infinity War and Endgame, we probably won't see something like that again in our lifetime, okay? Even if James Gunn's DCU does extremely well and it builds up to a very successful Justice League movie, it's still gonna be the second time we see something like that. It told us, or it showed everyone, including audiences and studio executives and just filmmakers and storytellers, that something like that is possible if planned ahead and, you know, executed well. So whether we get a Justice League movie to that point, it's not gonna have the same effect as what we got with Endgame, okay? That's just facts, and I don't want to see people disagree with me, okay? It's okay to think that this era of Marvel is preferred over what we get with post MCU, because listen, like I said before, everything just gels together so nicely, okay? And not everything's influenced by you know, box office and what people ended up liking and stuff. I know this is kind of a pointless video, but it's just a bit of introspection before we get into Fantastic Four that comes out later this year, and of course Avengers Doomsday and whatnot, because, you know, this is kind of a forgotten era, you know what I mean? And yeah, stuff like X-Men Legends, which I see the thumbnail for on my screen as well, that was also a big part of this. We had Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. That was also a part of this whole thing. That was Marvel back then. And pre-MCU Marvel, they had a lot of good shit going on, including the animated shows. And if you haven't seen it already, I did rank every 2000s Marvel and DC show animated intro, because those intros, They were bangers, alright? So check that out if you haven't seen it already. Check out my discussion channel. I did put a review for Thunderbolts. Check out my second vlog channel for random vlogs and videos, my letterbox, and I'll see you next week. See ya.